So,
Okay, now he's saying he said yes, he can hear us. And he's speaking, but we can't hear him.
right. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Life with Shenita. Tonight is certainly a exciting time because I am graced with some amazing people that are joining me on this platform tonight as I celebrate my birthday. And so I'm honored to have each and every one of them because they are important to me in their own respective areas, in their own respective lives. So I hope that you all will enjoy this evening's broadcast. And I am going to allow each of them to introduce themselves to you all, and they will share with you who they are in a minute or less. And so ladies are always first. So we're going to start out with Ms. Rosa Chambers. So if you guys will all unmute yourselves and introduce yourselves. And Rosa will start first.
Hi there. Good evening. My name is Rosa Chambers. I know Shenita by working with her at Clayton County Public Schools. I'm glad to be here tonight to participate in this show.
Thank you. And next up, Miss Sheila Williams.
Hello, I'm Sheila Williams. I'm CEO of Williams Coaching and Consulting. And I have known Shenita since 2003, so that's a long time. And Shenita and I met when we were organizing a youth conference for our church. So a whole bunch of stories go on there, but good times, and just glad to be here, Shenita.
Thank you for joining us. Next up, Felicia Liggins.
Hello, everyone. I'm Felicia Liggins. I've known Shenita for about 8 years now, and I met her at New Vision Christian Church, which we're both members of, and she has become one of my best friends, and I'm excited that she selected me to be a part of her celebration.
Yes, yes. Thank you for being here, Felicia. And Jennifer Taylor.
Hello. My name is Jennifer Taylor, and I am a longtime friend of. We grew up together as babies in the neighborhood, playing together, and I am just blessed to be here to celebrate this special day with you. We love you.
Yes, love you too. Thank you. And Karen Hernandez, last but certainly not least of the ladies.
Hi, so nice to be here to celebrate Shanita's birthday. We go back to our church days, and I think recently I became her personal comedian. So we can laugh about stuff that kind of bothers us a little bit, and we end up hanging the phone up laughing. So yeah, I'm very appreciative to be here to celebrate your birthday.
Thank you for being here. And Vince McCant.
Hello, everybody. I've known Shenita about 20 years. She's always been an amazing person. We got connected by the last names initially because McCants used to be her last name. And we've been stuck with each other ever since. It's been a lot of beautiful times, and she's a great person, and I'm honored to be here and speak on her behalf.
Thank you, family.
Can y'all
Thank
hear
you.
me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Sheesh. Technology, when it work well, but when it don't, man, it's like, sheesh.
So it's on you, Jay.
Okay.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that I did not get to. I wanted the fabulous honor to introduce Life with Shenita, turning 56 glorious years young, and I didn't get to. But I got some energy for the show. I promise you I do. Shenita and I go back. I moved here from Los Angeles 2004. I think she was the first person I met off the airplane. At a church. I think we met at didn't we meet at a church in McCaleb's church, I think. Out on Rainbow.
Indicator.
Yep, Rainbow Drive, and she's been bouncing around there. It's been amazing. We did college tours together. We started with that, and then she whooped this kid. She probably ain't gonna tell y'all this, but she whooped this kid when we was on one of the tours.
Ooh.
Absolutely amazing. And then flew him home, and then flew the Negro back home. Sure did. But I've known her for at least 15 years, and she has been amazing. Her heart for service and serving people has been unmatched. Her children are absolutely amazing. God rest his soul, Brother Winston, who I just fell in love with. Everybody fell in love with him. He is now an ancestor. As you all know, if you're close to her, you already know that. But just seeing her light, seeing her transition through the different phases of life. We get 310 of these things. That's what the words say. If you're lucky, you get a little bit longer. But within those 7, we're going to go through love. We're going to go through loss. We're going to build lifelong friendships and partnerships and extended family members. And then some people are not going to go with us on the journey. I'm so fortunate to be able to go on this journey with her. So salute to you all for being in the fold. If you are on this call, you mean something to her. And if I don't know you already, looking forward to getting to know you.
Absolutely wonderful. And just for the record, just for the record, I didn't whoop the kid, but I certainly put him on the plane and sent him back home because he was not reported. So, on those college tours, I didn't play. We gave specific instructions, and if you did not comply, you were out of there. And so he was one that could not remain with us for the duration of the trip. So he had to go. So we are waiting for Mr. Tom Jones to join us. And I would like for us to start with a question. If we can start with a question, I'm ready. And actually, I was trying to wait for Tom, but here I am.
So
look at you.
Here I am.
So, Shenita, I have a question.
Yes.
So, you have had a lot of fabulous birthday parties that I have attended that have been over the top. That have been, one year she threw a party in a neighborhood, and it was just insane how many people were there and the level of detail those parties were. Every year, the level of detail went up and up and up and up. She spared no expense on it. And all of her birthdays, she was more interested in everybody else having a good time than her. She fed off the people. So my question to you is now at 56, what do you expect different out of this birthday? What's going to make this birthday different than all the other fabulous birthday parties that you had?
Well, I think what will make it different and more special is, of course, COVID-19. It's different in that we can't be as connected as we are used to being. But I still had to find a way to bring people together because you know how much I love people. And you're right, I do enjoy caring and seeing others smile and seeing others happy more so than myself. And so this year I had to really think outside the box and say, how can I still celebrate my life and still love on other people? And so COVID-19 has taught me that life is definitely short and that we should take advantage of the time that we have. So many people have passed away during this COVID-19. And so I tell my daughters often, I don't know when my last day on this earth will be, but until that time arises, I am going to celebrate. So I'm hoping that if nothing else, that people will walk away with the desire to celebrate themselves, regardless to what other people think. And even during these times or uncertainty, that we are finding ways to still be creative and still love on people and still let them know that you care about them, even if it's your birthday. So for me, just having the opportunity to do this, and sharing memories, and this is like legacy, because this interview will outlive me. And my grandchildren and great grandchildren will have an opportunity to get to know me, even if I'm not here. And so that, to me, although I could have said, well, I can't really do anything. No, we're going to celebrate my life in hopes that it will impact others or inspire others to celebrate theirs, while they can as well. So even in the midst of the COVID-19, let's do it. Yes. So someone else? Question?
I have a question for you. Now that you're the young age of 56, what would you tell the 20-year-old Shenita?
Mm-hmm.
Can we go back to 16? So if I had the opportunity to tell the younger Shenita, I would tell her to be obedient to her parents, even at 20. So if I had to go back any further than that, I would still tell her to be obedient to her parents because they were wiser than she thought they were, and they were smarter than she thought they were. So yes, I would tell that younger Shenita to please be obedient to her parents and follow their wisdom. That's what I will tell her. Great question. Next up.
I have a question. When did you realize that you had leadership and that energy within yourself?
I don't think I realized it until in my mid 30s. I was always labeled as being bossy. And I attribute that to being leadership skills, but I didn't realize that it really was leadership skills. Now, I do think that they have to be horned in on, and they have to be trained, because I had to learn how to deal with people in a loving way, because there were times as I was growing that I realized I had some special gifts from God, and I wasn't using them in the way that He would have been most proud of me at some points in my life. So I had to learn and grow, and you just can't beat people up. You know what I'm saying? You can be a great leader, but you got to be very careful how you handle people and God's children. So I had to learn that. So it was probably in my 30s that I learned that I had that gift, and I had to really learn over the years how to use it in a way that God would be proud of. So I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And I just think that I'm a forever student. And most people don't think that I can handle criticism, but I grew up with two brothers in the middle, and so I can handle it just like I can dish it. There was a time when I couldn't handle it, but I can. So I'm still growing.
I realized it when you were probably like a junior in high school. We were making fun of somebody on the church bus, our little church band that we had. And we were making fun of somebody of how they were, and you came on the bus and you guys, God, she's up there. Let's be nice. And it was like, wow, she's really being an adult. Wow. So I kind of saw it like a really long time ago. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You trained us nicely. You're still doing it today.
Yeah, I'm growing. I'm still growing. I thank God for who I am and who I'm going to become. Anyone else?
I have a question, Shenita. If you had $56,000, what would be your ideal vacation, and who would be that one person that you would take with you?
Wow, $56,000. Oh, that would be a dream vacation for sure. So I probably would not spare any expense, as Vince said earlier. Um, I think I would go to Hawaii, back to Hawaii, Honolulu. I actually have gone to Honolulu once in my life for a week, and it was a beautiful, beautiful experience. And I think I would go back there and live it up, of course. And the one person that I would take with me, I don't know if I can tell that. I don't know that I could tell that. But there is someone special in my life that I probably would take with me, but I don't know that I want to share that person's name. So is that fair?
That's
Fair?
It's your birthday. You can do whatever you want to do.
I'm
You can
calling
reveal
you
it one day on Life with Shenita.
Yes. So yes, $56,000. Man, would that be awesome. Next up. Next question.
So my question is, and I always take it back to Aerovation Field. Well, AKA Aerovation Field, but Aviation Field. We grew up. What, as a child and growing up and playing in the streets and all of that, what did you get from that molded you into this beautiful woman you are today? Your childhood.
I think it was, to be honest with you, the foundation that my parents set. Many, many days, I didn't want to pray. I didn't want to go to church. I didn't want to study the word. I thought it was ridiculous. It was too much. Sunday school, then you had church, then you had BTU, then you had evening church, then you had Wednesday night church, and I was thinking like, I'm churched out. But I think the foundation that my parents set really contributed to who I am today. I saw a unit. I saw my parents work as a unit together. I saw them work as a team. So in terms of being a wife or a partner to someone, I understand clearly what it takes to be successful in that area. And I'm not saying my parents didn't have issues. I'm just saying we never saw it. We didn't see the fighting. We didn't see the not getting along piece growing up. So I have a different perspective on marriage and life. And I think the spiritual part, in addition to the educational part, we grew up in a private school. I think all of that contributed to who I am today, in addition to Miss Daisy, your mother. People like her, people at St. John Divine who spoke into my life at an early age. Growing up in Pensacola, in the aviation field, was all that. We had a great upbringing. And even though there was some dysfunction in the neighborhood, it didn't affect us. You know what I mean? We saw some dysfunction, but it didn't affect us as human beings. And my desire to be all I can be kind of is still important to me. So I grew up in a humble environment with great background. And I think that attributes to who I am. And my parents, my dad making sure that I stood in front of the church and spoke and sang lead in the choir and represented as a delegate for church. All of that, I think, shaped me to who I am today. But I didn't like none of that. But I appreciate it today. So you, as a child, and I oftentimes said to my children, I realize that you don't like when I give you some instructions and you might not like me, but I know what's best. And one day you'll appreciate it. You may not today. And I am certainly not your friend. And one day we can be friendly and we can be friends as adults today, but as children, um, they have to respect their parents. And I think that's important. And so we had to respect our parents, and people could spank us and chastise us.
Because Mr. Tootie didn't play.
He didn't play. My daddy did not play. No, he didn't. So yes, that was a good one. Anyone else?
I have a question.
Okay.
When I think of Shenita, I think of someone who is confident and vibrant and knows where she's going and knows what she wants, very brave and courageous. I want to know, what is your biggest fear and what steps do you plan on taking to overcome that fear?
Well, I don't really have, I used to have a fear of dying. I used to have a fear of risk taking. So I'm not struggling with those today. And I think what has helped me overcome those is understanding all things are a part of the journey. And so we don't know when that end date is. And so while we have the opportunity or the time to live and do and be who we are supposed to, I think that we should. And so I have learned over the years that the longer I wait to jump, the less time I have to enjoy the benefits of jumping. And so, the risk taking, because, sometimes we just are fearful, like of the unknown, like I'm afraid. And I think that keeps us from enjoying the fruits of our labor or what God has for us. So I'm at a place now where I purchased my home in 2000. So I'm getting ready to leave this house. Sometimes you fear change. And when you think of change, it's like, man, I don't know if I can do this. But I've learned on my journey through all of the things that have happened to me, from the loss of my mom to the loss of my dad, to my son being incarcerated, to the loss of my husband, and the first marriage ending, that all of that was a part of this journey, and it all made me better. All of that made me better. Even when I thought I was going to lose my mind after the first marriage ended, and I thought about suicide. And I was thinking about this morning when I was getting dressed. I said, when my first husband decided he didn't want to be married anymore, and I was left with those 3 children, and the pain was so grueling that I didn't want to live anymore. And I thought I could kill him, because pain was so deep that you wanted him to feel the pain that you were feeling. I don't know if anybody can understand that, but I remember God dealing with me and saying, you have to live for your children. And if you were to harm him, then you wouldn't be here for them. And so I remember being able to move past that period. But I was afraid during that place of being a single parent, because I didn't know that, because I didn't grow up like that. But each of those moments in my life have contributed to the person that I am today. I am a stronger woman, and I can share with others the need to continue to hold on, even when things look very, gloomy. Just hold on, and struggle through it, push through it. And there is life after the rain. And so my organization, Life After the Rain, came as a result of the loss of my husband. But when you think about it, when rain happens in our life, we're looking for sunshine. And that's one of the reasons why I started that. I wanted people to always have hope that it's going to get better, and have a village of people that can help them through those tough moments. Someone else? Another question?
I have a question. What has been the response from your book of Is Your House in Order? Because I shared with you that I had to share with friends of mine that their houses were not in order. And I shared the book because the awareness. What feedback have you gotten from your book?
It's been overwhelmingly positive. It has caused people to take a real look at their personal life, their personal affairs, and to think about, if I were to leave today, what will it look like for my family tomorrow? We can think all day long what it might look like, but when you literally sit down, it has caused them to sit down with financial advisors. It has caused them to go to the bank and make sure that they have someone listed on their account. It has caused them to go to talk to lawyers to make sure they have wills and power of attorneys, to make sure they have dotted their I's and crossed their T's because of my courageous effort to share my story. And so that is really my goal, because what I went through when my husband passed away and us just living our life out loud, living what we thought was our best life, knowing that we needed to do A, B, and C, but we were too busy living that we didn't take the time to do it. And so it left me in a very devastating place. And so I didn't want to share that. And God said, you have to share it. And because that meant I had to air my dirty laundry. And so I was prideful and didn't want people to know that this couple who looked like they had it together didn't really have it together. So I had to get past that. And he said, oh, so you really think this is about you? And so I had to get past that place in my life and really try to encourage people to sit down and make sure that if something happens to you and you're the breadwinner of the family and that income is extracted from that life, what is the plan to replace that income? And if vice versa, whatever that looks like, we really have to take a serious look at our life and in that way. I know people don't like to talk about death. They don't like to talk about illness. They just don't like to talk about things that may be morbid. But we all know that we're going somewhere one day, right? Mm-hmm. As a result of that, I think people are hearing me say that you got to take the time and go sit down and develop a plan of action. That is what love is about, handling our business. So that when the time comes, people can grieve and not be stressed, because I was stressed as a result of me and my husband not dotting our I's and crossing our T's. And if he were to come back today, I'm sure he would have apologized to me and said we should have done a better job because we knew to do a better job. So it has been overwhelmingly a great response, and I am grateful that I was courageous enough to move forward, because it was a very painful process, because I had to relive stuff, and to relive stuff is very painful when you have to write it and you have to think it and go through that. And so I had to go through that process of writing it and putting it down and then coming back several months later and crying some more and writing it again and struggling. And so I'm grateful that the painful process I had to go through has been a blessing to other people, because they have taken the initiative to handle their personal affairs. So I'm grateful. So I feel like I've sacrificed myself for others, and that's a positive.
I appreciate you. I got the prepaid legal. I got the ID shield. I am straight so covered, and I appreciate you for that.
Yes, I'm grateful. So next question.
I would ask you, Shenita, what brings you joy?
What brings me joy? Seeing other people happy. I spend a lot of time trying to make sure others are good. If you know anything about me, the person, and sometimes to a fault, that I think about others before myself. And over the years, I've had to learn to make myself as much of a priority as I do other people, because that is what brings balance. And I think is important. But I love seeing other people happy. I love catering to or making sure they're good. And that brings me a lot of joy. But to my fault, it has caused me to be unbalanced in some ways along the journey. And so I had to learn to gather the balance in that area to make sure that I look out for me just as much as I look out for other people. But it still brings me joy. So I am excited that my friend, my brother has joined us, Mr. Tom Jones. And
Hello.
good evening. Good evening. I know you've been through some things to get here this evening, but you're here.
Boy, I got a story to tell. I don't know. You had me in the backstage for so long, I felt like I was at the Apollo and y'all wouldn't let me on stage because Sandman was going to use that hook and pull me off. So just stay in the backstage. Just stay in the back. I'm like, hey. But I did hear while I was backstage, I heard something about you wanted to shoot an MF and then the rain came. I'm like, what did I miss? What y'all been talking about? What is that question? I want to shoot an MF, or I was going to shoot an MF, then the rain came, and I'm free. Wow. Okay, we don't have to go backwards.
Hey, Tom,
And I also heard, this is something else I heard. My good friend Vince is here. We go way back like a brother to me. And we were out, and I don't mean to steal the thunder or the conversation, but we were out about a week ago, and we discussed something, Shenita, you just brought up about men going back to apologize to the women we have hurt in our lives. And then some of us men got a whole trail of women. There's a trail of tears. And we had that discussion. You remember it, Vince? You remember it, Vince? Don't get quiet now.
Yep.
Yeah. We had a discussion about going back to apologize to the women that we've hurt because we've matured and we're not so driven by testosterone and adrenaline and all that stuff. And we're thinking clearer now. We should go back. And I just heard you say something about we should apologize to you.
Did we lose Tom?
Yeah, I think he froze up a little bit. But what Tom was saying is true. We got into this very deep conversation. It probably went on for about an hour, and and then we were talking about all the different women that we've had in our lives over the years and the wrongdoings that we've taken them through, and we ended up on the conversation at the end where it's a maturity thing for the guy, and I think that a lot of women would just like a simple apology, from the number of men that have mistreated them and taken them through things. Hey, just like before I got married, I told Tom this. Before I got married, and I was notorious, Shenita, back when my single days, I was horrible. But before I got married, I called up all my exes and had a conversation with them, and I apologized to them for anything I did, and it strengthened the relationships that I had with all of them, and they appreciated that. But that's a rarity that people just don't do.
Right.
And you ladies go through a lot in life, whether from being mothers to working to dealing with relationships to dealing with life in general, etc. And I don't think that you all are appreciated enough for your strength that you have, because you all have way more strength than we do. We the slightest little thing happens with us and we get emotional about it. So.
And you're right. I always wanted my children's father to apologize to me for deserting us. I never got that apology. And I remember my daughter, my oldest daughter, saying, "You're still angry with my dad," and I was. And I didn't realize that I was angry because I was placed in a position to be a single mom. I didn't ever want that role. I didn't grow up in that world, and I didn't see that for myself. And I thought I deserved an apology. But obviously, he didn't think that I needed one. And so I had to accept the fact that I may never get that, and I must be able to forgive him and anyway to move on, for my sake. But you're right. Many times, apologies are not given, and they should be.
Well, let me tell you, I'm going to slightly disagree with you because men are very conscious about what they're doing when they do it, and ego always steps in. You know, ego is the piece that most men are lacking to be able to say I was wrong. And I'm sorry I put you through this situation, because when you were telling your story about, being a married woman and having, kids, and then all of a sudden now you got to carry up the full weight overnight, pretty much. That's a lot. I mean, that is a lot. That's a huge transition. And, just looking at my mom and even looking at my wife who takes care of our son, like, you know, she's been taking care of him since he was 4 years old. And she is phenomenal when it comes down. And I just look at what she does on a day-to-day basis with him, and there's no way in the world I could do it at the level that she does this thing. And she makes it look so easy. So, it's just, I think it's maturity. And I think that, when you're dealing with guys and you're getting to know guys, I think you need to ask the hard questions and really observe them. And I think that if it's possible, talk to some of the exes. I gave my wife an opportunity to talk to some of my exes, and they told her like it was, and that helped her out a lot.
And Shenita, you said something that was very key, and that is you forgave him. But we all know that forgiveness is not for the person that you're forgiving. It's
Right.
really for you, so that you can move on and restore, right? So that you're no longer angry with them. So that's a powerful statement, in that when you forgive someone, right, you're really forgiving yourself,
Right.
Exactly.
so that you can take the chance to move on. So
Exactly.
Yep.
And
And
I would say hats off to you with all of the trials you've gone through. You handled it, all of it, with grace and strength. And I know your strength came from God, but you handled it. And a few years ago, I lost a best friend. I lost my sister, and I got into this depression. And I'm like, and I look at you. I knew you lost your husband that you loved, and you snapped back through God. And I'm like, okay, I got to get out of this rut. And I just know, I look at you, I'm telling you, when I know your stories and I know how you handled it with grace, if all of it with grace, but grace came from God. And I know, I look at you and you living your best life. You are living your best life. And I'm so happy for you.
thank you. Thank you. I so appreciate that. It's been a journey, is all I can say. And you're right. Those many nights of my mother making us study and making us pray and hearing and seeing is a part of the fiber, my inner fiber that keeps me moving and going, even when I want to fall apart.
Yeah.
As recent this week. So I just, I thank God for it, that I have something to pull from to keep me going. So Tom, I think, is back. Hopefully his connection is good.
Yeah, I thought it was you didn't pay your cable bill, but I didn't pay mine. It looked just like mine went out. But I don't know what you guys have discussed so far. But Shenita, did y'all know Shenita was homeless? Did y'all know Shenita was homeless at one point?
no.
Yeah, froze. It's something up with my computer.
They can hear you.
It's not working. Are y'all there?
Yes.
Yeah,
We're here.
Oh, it's something with my internet. You're here now, but they're frozen. They're like this here. You there?
Yeah, we hear.
Some people are frozen.
Yes.
It's my computer. I'm gonna have to log off and get back on.
Okay. So he was saying I was homeless. So you guys know the backstory. So when I moved to Atlanta in 1996, I did not move to a place to live. I had to live with someone. So when we were talking the other night, I told him, I said, I was homeless from September to November. And so that was a terrible feeling to be out of whack or out of sorts when you're so used to being comfortable, being stable. So for about 2 months, I was displaced. So when I think of homeless people, I was living with someone. I had a place to live, but still, it wasn't my place. So I appreciate every bit of blessings that God has bestowed on me. And so I try not to look down on anyone because it could be them today and you tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah. So any other questions from the hot seat until Tom comes back?
I have one for you, Shenita. I've seen you go through many phases in your life. And you are not the sledgehammer, right? You are a Swiss Army knife because you can pivot. And I love that about you. You'll pivot a situation, and I love that. My question to you, and this will be a fun question, if your life were a video game, which level would be the most difficult for you?
I probably would say maybe the beginning. Until I understand it from the core, from the root, from the foundation, it's probably going to be a challenge. Even now in this new position that I'm in, I find that there are phases in this job that I have to do repetition. Like repetition is the mother of learning for me. And so it has to be regular repetition for me to really get it. And so Rosa challenges me often to write your notes and refer. And I know this because I worked for the government, before. So she reminds me, she challenges me all the time. She's truly a teacher. But I think it would be the beginning, really understanding the essence of the game on that level. And then maybe as I move up, it will get easier. Some people may think the opposite, but I think if I really truly understood the foundation of it and how it goes, I could navigate successfully through the levels.
Awesome.
Anyone else?
Yes, Shenita, I would ask you, you're such an excellent friend and mother, but what are some of the qualities that you look for in a friendship?
For me, loyalty. I think loyalty is like so important in being truly honest, and being there for each other. I look for that. And I'm not that friend that need you constantly. Like I'm not that friend I got to talk to you every day. I'm just not that girl. But if you are down, we are down with each other. We're down with each other. We don't have to see each other, talk to each other for years. And we are just there. But it's important to me that you're loyal, patient, understanding. I had to learn how important that patience is because I didn't always have patience. And my husband, Winston Connolly, taught me the importance of patience and loving each other unconditionally. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we love people based on conditions. But I think if you're able to love people unconditionally, you love from a different place. And so you'll be able to help each other if it's sincere.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom,
Yes.
you're back. Sound like you're in.
I think I'm in now. I'm on a different computer. So
Yes.
but I was about to mention that. Did y'all know that Shenita was homeless at one point? No, serious. She was homeless, and I can't imagine her standing on the side of a freeway with a sign saying "We'll work for food." I'm serious. I can't imagine her wearing clothes, hand-me-down clothes with the stench of the last decade. But in fact, when you got here to Atlanta, you were homeless. Talk about that a little bit.
I did. I shared with them when you went away. Yes, I shared with them.
Coming late. That's what you get for coming late.
And so I am hoping, we're going to go further than 8:00. If you guys have to leave, I understand. But I know Tom has some good conversation for us. So Tom, have your way.
Okay, I bet you didn't talk to them about this. I know you didn't. And most of you know I'm a reporter, so I'm always looking for probing questions and what I can ask somebody. I want to get deep down inside. I want you to come out and emote, and if you want to shed some tears and all that, do that. If you want to laugh, do. That's what I get an orgasm asking questions. So anyway, I'm talking to Shenita, saying, hey, let me get some questions for the party and all of that, and so I've been noticing her. She's always on Facebook cooking and baking and all these sweets and stuff. So, sometimes you throw a softball question out there knowing what the answer is. So I asked Shenita, what was her guilty pleasure? So all the other answers, she had been all loud, so loud I had to turn the volume down on the phone. So on this one, she whispered her answer. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What is your guilty pleasure? She said, I said, Shenita, I didn't hear you say that again. And she smiled a little bit and said, I heard the S. And so I'm saying, Shenita, I need to hear, because I'm not getting what you're saying. I said, what is your guilty pleasure? Sex. Oh, my God. I said, Shenita, this is a rated G party. And I meant rated G for grandma, but where did that come from? Anyway, I was talking about the sweets, and so she went on to tell me about her guilty pleasure was sweets. So let's stick to that, Shia, if we can. And talk about your guilty pleasure.
I shared with Tom that there was a time in my life where sex was a guilty pleasure. And I was never a one-night stand. I always had relationships, and I moved from relationships. And some of you guys may even know that part of my life. That's not my story today, but it was my story before. And I have a girlfriend, and we're still good friends today. And one day she said to me, do you realize that you go from relationship to relationship to relationship? And that was because I was secure in getting that guilty pleasure met. That was before I truly developed a wonderful relationship with Christ and understood, that I couldn't go on like that. But that was my guilty pleasure. And so my guilty pleasure today is sweets.
Yes. Okay. Now that's what I was talking about. Yeah. Okay.
But I wanted them to hear the back end.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I also asked you, and because friendship is about trust and people that got your back. I know Vince got my back. I don't care what I get into. That brother got my back. And I asked you, if you got locked up, God forbid, if you got locked up, you were in somebody's jail, and you had a phone call to make, who on this call would you say, I know this person got my back, and I can call them, and they're going to be right there. They ain't going to be turning over talking about, oh, I got to rearrange my sock drawer, and I'm busy, and all of that. So.
And I said, Rosa Chambers. I said,
she did.
Yeah.
I said Rosa would get to that.
I got you.
And she wouldn't ask me no questions. She was like, what's the bail money?
Mm-hmm.
I also asked you, who wouldn't you call? Because somebody on here going to be like, oh, that's Shenita. Okay, I'll get to her tomorrow.
And it was supposed to be Reginald Scott, but he couldn't be on. But
still him then.
Right. And Reginald Scott would be too busy cycling or dancing somewhere. He wouldn't answer the call.
And that's Reginald. I don't want to interrupt anybody. I know y'all got questions and y'all had questions, and I'm coming in all late and all of that. But there were some fun questions and some serious questions. And one of the fun questions I wanted to ask is, Shenita, you're so refined. That's what I like about you. You're just this refined person, sweet little Catholic girl, except for your guilty pleasures. But you're so refined. And I imagine you, I said, what if Shenita was a little ghetto girl?
Ooh.
What if she just like a little ghetto girl? She could be refined, but she has some little ghetto in her. I say, what would your baby's name be?
And I told him Bentley.
No, you didn't.
What? Okay, so what? Okay, you share the answer.
You did say Bentley. You did. And why did you say Bentley?
I said, well, really, the question was about a car.
I said, if you were a ghetto girl and you had a baby, and most ghetto girls, some ghetto girls name their kids after cars,
right?
What would name be?
And I said Bentley.
and explain why.
I mean, I just think that's the top of the line. I mean, in car, and it would help that child understand the value that they possess. A Bentley is top of the line.
And you know what, Shenita? When you said that, you know what it did for me? It reflected more back on you and who you are, that no matter what, you are always looking at the top of the line. You are always trying to get to the top of the mountain. You are always trying to achieve and move forward and not move backwards. And so when you saying you wanted that quality, you've lived your life seeking quality. And I think that's what people love about you. That's what people love about you, that you are a quality person. You want quality friends. You want a quality job. Everything about you was quality. So that question kind of led right into or reflected back on you, as it will the next question. I also asked you if you decided to, life got a little hard, money got tight. We're all in this pandemic and you needed to do something to make some money. And if you decide to go down there to the Blue Flame, I know none of us have been there, what would your stripper name be?
Ooh. You tell him.
Sparkle. And what did you tell me why your name was Sparkle?
Because it ignites life. I mean, it breathes life.
That ain't what you told me. You told me because you looked at, you said, because I make them sparkle.
We truly had some fun with those questions. Oh my goodness.
You had me rolling.
Yes.
Like, what are you laughing at? But in all seriousness, no. Anybody have any questions to Shenita you want to ask? Because I got stupid questions. Go ahead, ask away.
Jay looks like he wants to ask one.
Okay, well, let me finish then. If ain't nobody gonna step up, say, hey, can we all pretend for a quick second? I know I don't want to be all serious. I just dealt with a woman who got her house shot up, or somebody shot in her kid's bedroom and almost killed him. So I'm in a goofy mood. So can we? Shenita is 56. So can we all pretend that we were either 5 or 6 years old, and Shenita asked us to come to her birthday party? Can you play the 5 or 6-year-old and tell her why you would come or why you wouldn't come? And I want to start with me. Shenita asked me, can I come to your party?
Would you come to my party, please?
I don't know. I have to ask my mama, and I don't like coming to your house because you don't like the Jetsons. You like the Flintstones, and you eat up all the cake. I don't want to come to your party. No, I'll come, but you can't eat up all the cake. And you're going to have to let me blow out a candle. And you can't be kissing on me because you girls nasty. Y'all always want to kiss on us boys. Leave me alone. Who else? Who else want to play role play?
Yes.
I know Smooth Vince can't. Vince.
Yes.
Vince.
Let me tell you, I wasn't there at 5 and 6, but I was there at 35 and 36 though.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you, Tom, if 5 years old and she invited me to a party, I'd sneak out the house. I would be that 5-year-old crawling out the door down the street, making my way to her party because they were epic.
So you can take advantage of some of that guilty pleasure.
Let me tell you, it was a 5-ring circus all the time at a party.
This Catholic girl? This Catholic girl.
See, this is the part I've been holding from everybody, and I'm gonna share.
Don't hold it. We celebrating tonight. Celebrating tonight.
So back in the day, Shenita was what you see now, but she had this gangster side too, and she could flip between the two real easily. So she give you 2 warnings, and then if you didn't hear, then the other side would come out. And that's what people love the most about her, because she could snap in and out of that role real easily. Like she could be at a party and something happened, she would check you, give you your warning, and then walk off like nothing ever happened.
Like the little Exorcist girl who spin her head around. What's the one? The Exorcist girl?
Yeah. She was. Let me tell you, she was off the chain, but she was always classy with it. Always classy, very classy.
All right, now Spark.
So like I said, these parties back in the day, nobody was doing parties like Shenita was back then. She lived across from Holyfield back in the day.
Oh, okay.
And had the whole subdivision packed out. I mean, the entire subdivision. And people look forward to her parties every single year because it was a who's who, who's going to be there. The food was always on point. The drinks were on point. And it was incredible. And every year, the level just kept going up and up and up and up. So I asked the question earlier, Tom, you weren't on the call. I said, what makes this year different from all the other fabulous birthday parties that you've had? Because there's just been so many great parties, Wow. And she said, with the COVID situation, she wanted to do virtual and all this kind of stuff. So, I apologize for getting off track, but I just want to give people a little bit of history back in the day of how her parties went.
I appreciate the history. Shenita, you want to expound on that? You probably don't.
No, I mean, in a good way. It was always in a good way. Always in a good way. I just believe in celebrating life, and I enjoy having people around and them enjoying themselves. So it was always in a good way.
Oh, okay. Anybody else want to explain why they, as a 5 or 6-year-old, why you can't or come to her party?
Jay White. Did we lose Jay?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Okay, Sheila, go for it.
I want to come to your party, but my mama is not going to drive me 3 states to come and go. But I want to go.
Love it.
I want to hear from Rosa.
Well, Shenita, I'm going to come to your party because my daddy said I can, and I'm going to have him buy you a Barbie. And I want to know, will you let me help you open your presents? Because I want to play with the Barbie, okay? Can I play with your Barbie when you open it?
The Barbie, the school rock.
Yes, girl. Yes, girl. Let me play with that Barbie.
Sparkle.
Oh, yes, Sparkle.
Jennifer.
Yes.
You're a 5 or 6-year-old and you've been invited to Shenita's party. Do you tell her you're coming or you're not coming? Or what do you tell her in your 5 or 6-year-old voice?
I'm going to come to your party. Can you come down the street and ask, Mommy, can I come to your party? And can we ride the bikes and go down the street and look at little boys?
You was a fast 5 and 6-year-old.
5 or 6, that's like hunting boys down.
That's about right.
we did ride the bikes to go see boys, but we were a lot older than 5 or 6.
A lot older, yeah. We sneak off.
Felicia, in your 5 or 6-year-old voice, how would you respond to the invitation for this birthday party?
Shenita, I'm gonna come to your party now. Can you ask my grandma, can I come? And then also, can I stay the night at your house? Because if you ask her if I can stay, she'll probably let me stay. But if I ask to stay, she won't let me stay.
I will. I love it. I love it.
Jay, you got invited, brother. You got invited. 5 or 6 year old. How would you respond to the invitation? Jay is dead. He sleep? I think Jay sleep, y'all.
I am wanting to come to the party, but our internet is not working very well.
The internet won't cooperate.
Y'all had internet back then?
I know, right?
Oh my goodness. Jay has been challenged with the internet from the top of the evening.
Yeah, it's puzzling. But I want to know who. The reason why I don't want to come to the party. Can y'all hear me? Okay, just nod. If y'all can hear me, everybody just nod.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I was on my way over to the party, and I realized they tricked me, and I didn't want to get tricked again. And how they tricked me was, I went over there, and their grandmama had a glass of peanuts. You know, the bowl with the peanuts in the living room, the plastic on it. Well, they said I could have all the peanuts I wanted, so I ate all the peanuts up. They said it didn't matter that I ate the peanuts up. I said, why y'all let me have all the peanuts? And they said, because grandmama sucked all the chocolate off of them anyway. Oh. And that's why I ain't going to never again.
Oh, gross.
What is it? Oh, goodness. They really tricked you. Bless your heart. That wasn't me, though. I said, I wasn't that friend. I wasn't a part of that.
All right. Hey, let's get to this second round of questions. Shenita, I'd like to know, you have such a big heart, and you're so giving, and it's your birthday, and we're giving to you, but I think you give to us too. Where do you get this capacity to love from? Where does that come from?
I think I saw it as a child. My mother was, when I say the epitome of a loving woman who loved unconditionally, and she loved the Lord. And so that's what I saw growing up. And I think as I matriculated over the years, my personal relationship developed, not to mention all the pit stops along the way with people who have really made an impression in my life along the journey, including my deceased husband, who showed me what that looks like, truly looks like when you love unconditionally without putting conditions on it. So I saw it growing up and I know it. And so that's how I love, even with people who are hard to love, Tom. I'm talking about those who you want to just curse out.
Or any of them on this call?
No.
Okay. All right. Just checking.
No, none of them on this call.
Because I was going to tell them to mute.
But yeah, so I had to learn to love people where they are.
What about trusting people?
I'm very cautious. Very, very cautious.
I can see the yellow light on your head, that little caution light.
Very cautious. Very cautious.
Because?
I mean, you just can't take it that lightly. I mean, it could get you in some trouble if you just trust anyone without them proving that they can be trusted. You know what I mean? They need to go through some changes to prove that they can be trusted. They got to go through it.
Yeah. We are all on this journey, a spiritual journey, a life journey. We are all pursuing something. We're trying to get somewhere. And I know a lot of times on my birthday, you know what I do? I drive around 285 and I spend those 37, 42 minutes thinking about who I was yesterday, who I am today, and who I want to be tomorrow. Because that's so important. Because if you don't know who you were yesterday, how are you going to know what you can improve on today and what you need to look forward to improving tomorrow? So I can articulate who I was yesterday, who I am today, and where I want to go tomorrow. When you look back at your journey as you celebrate these beautiful 56 years, how do you describe where you were, who you are today, and where you want to go?
I could describe it in one word. I could call it growth. And when I think about this journey to 56 years, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent, I have grown through different stages of my life. And I think that I am a better person. It's almost like I went through fire. So I always look back as a child. I was a disobedient teenager. When my parents said go left, I went right. So that going right took me to a journey of less desired spaces and places. But on that journey, I have grown tremendously along the journey. So I think of growth through every challenge that I've faced. I've grown. I've become a better me, to be a better me for others and myself. And I'm still growing. So I think of it, when I think of my life, I think of just growth. I've grown.
Wow. Let's go around the room. Just one word. One word. I know that's hard to do. One word to describe Shenita. Let's start with you, Vince.
I'd just say outgoing. You know, as long as I've known her, she's just been outgoing.
Sheila.
Sunshine.
Whoa, not
She's
sparkle.
always a ray. Always a ray. I don't care if we don't talk for a year, if we don't talk for months, always a ray of sunshine, and we always get a kiki when we're talking.
A kiki?
A kiki.
But Sheila, isn't that beautiful that, I mean, a lot of us think that in order to be the best of friends and the most loving of friends, that we got to be in communication. But actually, as you grow older, you figure out that that's not true. There is still a bond between you. No matter if you verbalize it or not, y'all still love each other and you feel it. And Sheila, there are some people who you don't talk to and you don't miss not talking to them. Like, okay, yeah. But there are people that you love and are important in your life that you say, I haven't talked to her, but they still are in your spirit, right?
They hold that place. And Shenita is one of those people that holds that place, that I will stop what I'm doing, whether it's business or personal. I'll stop what I'm doing if she texts me to make sure that I respond, or if she calls me to make sure that I'm there to support, because she's always been supportive of me. And again, I can never repay her for what she put into my son, as we were both single parents at the same time. She was able to not only share her home, but it's a funny story really quick. My son used to follow me everywhere. He used to, I turned to the side, my son was there. And we were at Shenita's house having one of her parties. And he was in the room with me, following behind me. And she just grabbed him. Hey, go over there with the kids. Over there. They drinking over there. They having a good time over there. Go over there and leave your mama alone. And it made me realize he is a kid. He has no business with me all the time. So just lessons, the little lessons that you learn. So again, anytime I talk to her, it's like a ray of sunshine. I'm a complete introvert. Shenita is just way out there. So we're so opposites. So that's why it works.
Yeah, speaking of just stopping what you're doing to talk to her, I was driving down Terra Boulevard one time, and this crazy woman is waving at me and blowing the horn. And I'm like, who the hell? I'm trying to drive it. It's Shenita. So I'm to her while we driving down Terra Boulevard. I'm like, this don't make no sense, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Hey, yeah, okay, yeah, I got your text. Yeah. Anyway,
So
one word, Jennifer. One word, Jennifer.
So I had 2 words, but you said 1. So I'm gonna use the one.
Can you make it into 2 syllables?
No,
No,
I just one. I do one.
All right.
Strength.
Strength. I like that. Strength. Why?
Because I mean, I know a lot of the things she's gone through. When she got married, I was single, and then she got divorced. I got married, and we had kids. She had kids, and just things she's gone through that through it all, she just became. She was what is it? Ashes to beauty, beauty to ashes. She just that's her. Look at her. That's beauty, girl.
Hey, all right.
All the ashes. Look at her with that crown. You deserve that crown.
Thank you.
I love it.
I love you.
Felicia.
My one word would be consistent.
Okay. And why?
Because no matter what you're going through, the good, the bad, the ugly, Shenita's gonna always be consistent with you. You don't get these 2 different personalities. I know you say she said you would have the name Sparkle, but you get the same consistency no matter who it is that you're talking to. So I think I know that's what I love the most is because she's consistent.
Beautiful, beautiful. Jay, are you there? Okay. Jay, are you there? Jay,
Yep.
are you up?
You there?
Are you asleep?
I am.
Anyway, my word is tenacious.
Can y'all hear me?
My word is tenacious. As I just mentioned, on Terra Boulevard, and I think when I met Shenita, I think this is when we met. We were Facebook friends, and she wanted me to speak at her event, this book signing event. And you know, I get calls like this all the time, and she hit me up, and it was almost like I was ordained to do it. It was like, you know, God asked me to do it, and like, okay, she came to me like, this is what we're going to do, and this is what I did. So I think tenacious, and I love that kind of unbridled confidence, and that just, I mean, you have a goal, you have a commitment to something, and you see the parts to it, and you put it together, and you make it work. So I appreciate you, my sister. Happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Thank you. I love you all.
You want to say something, I think.
I thought they wanted to say something.
Yeah, you can't hear me?
Oh, that's Jay. Jay done woke up.
I was never asleep. I've been here for the whole conversation.
Oh, it's a joke, man. Play along. Go ahead, Jay. Jay, one
Can
word
you
to
hear me?
describe Shenita.
yeah, we can hear you.
My one word is human.
Say that again.
Human.
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 Oh, you scared me, Jay. I thought you said mule. Human.
Yeah.
Jay, I think we gathered,
Human.
I think we gathered that she's human. You want to expound on that?
Okay. Yeah, I say that because I'm privy to a lot of her Facebook posts, and she is, no matter what space she's in, she's vulnerable enough to share her space with us. The truth of it is, reality is we all go through our challenges in life, and she has been a billboard, not just for the turbulent times, the good times, but also the turbulent times when she's having a good day and when she's not having such a good day, which is very relatable. We all go through that, and I appreciate her just being vulnerable, being human, not trying to facade it, not trying to hide behind it. One day, a few days, one day in particular, she wrote a post. She just said, "I miss my husband." And that's just like the realest, you know what I mean? That's just as real as it can get. I miss my husband. And, he asked the most high questions at times, like, why us? and I've probably taken on my own thoughts and theories about how she responds, or questions that she might have in her quiet time. But for that, I'm just grateful that there's at least another person in the world who is human, who go through life and take it as it comes and ask her questions. When it's time to cry, she cries. When it's time to laugh, she definitely laughs. And I appreciate the balance in that.
That's beautiful, Jay.
Thank
Beautiful, Jay. That's beautiful. And wow, go ahead, Shenita.
I was just going to say thank you so much, because every post that I post, and I know a lot of people say she posts too much, comes from my heart, my soul, my spirit. And I'm always led to share. And so when Winston passed away in 2015, and I thought I was going to die, because after being a single woman for so many years and desiring a man like God blessed me with, to have him for such a short period of time, I was in shock that I was in this place without this man that was a blessing to me. And so at that point, I thought I was going to die myself. And when I went through probably about 6 or 7 months and I came out of a surgery in March of 2016, God said to me, live, you're not going to die. And I had to start living and to give hope to other people who were going through challenges, so that if they saw me overcome, they would have the strength and the tenacity, the courage, the inspiration to overcome, because they say, oh, that little black girl, or that black lady that I knew, or that girl named Shenita, or whatever they call me, if she was able to make it or push through, then I can. And Jennifer said that earlier. And so I believe God gives us, journeys or challenges that we go through, so that it's not just for ourselves, but it's for other people. And so I appreciate you guys, all the kind words.
Beautiful, lovely, lovely. Speaking of lovely, and let me take this. I want to ask the panel, and then we're going to end with you, Shenita. But I don't know how many of you guys are fans of Bill Withers. Talented artist, died recently. And I grew up listening to him, and the song Lovely Day just resonates with me.
I love that song.
I hear that song and it just, but since he died, it's taken on a new meaning. I don't know if I'm older and I see it in a more fulfilling way, that every day is a lovely day, especially on your birthday. Yes. So I want to go around the room and just ask, and we'll end with you, Shenita, but what is a lovely day to you? Let's start with Felicia.
A lovely day to me is when I first wake up and I open my eyes.
You're stealing Bill's words. Those are Bill's words. When I wake up in the morning.
Go
ahead, girl.
But just being able to breathe and to stretch my limbs out, and just be thankful. Thankful that I'm alive and my family as well. That's a lovely day.
Jennifer.
Yes.
A lovely day is just having another day of life here. Like it's so many people not here. And it's just a lovely day to thank God every morning. Thank you, God, for another day.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
It is. It is. It truly is. Amen. Sheila.
I think with all of this COVID stuff going on and how we've had to quarantine, and particularly those like myself who live alone and have spent the last several months since March in your home alone, I think what makes my day wonderful is that I wake up in gratitude every day. I wake up, I probably say thank you over 100 times before my feet hit the floor. I'm just grateful for another day. I live in gratitude, and because now I live in gratitude, I see my life and I see the world a little bit differently. I love more. I do more outreach. Again, I said it in the conversation, I'm an introvert, so I reach out to people a lot more than I normally would, because time is short. But I'm just grateful for every moment in my day. Even when the day isn't so good, I've become very grateful for it.
Amen. Amen. Vince, your version of a lovely day.
I think just waking up. To be
Yes.
honest. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many people that are dealing with so many things today, and there are people that are bedridden, that have illnesses, that are paralyzed, that depending on people to take care of them 24/7. Like my mother, perfect example. She relies on somebody to take care of her 24/7.
Hmm.
And so I remember, when she was this vibrant, outgoing person, and now, she's totally dependent on 3 nurses throughout the day. And so, it just shows you how quick life can change, and how you have to take advantage of what you do have, you know.
Yeah. For me, when the blood flows through these veins and I'm on his wake up list and I'm able to go out and challenge myself and challenge the world. And no matter if I stump my toe, no matter if I got too many bills, no matter if somebody's angry at me for whatever story I did or didn't do, I'm still seeing this lovely day. I'm still seeing the beauty of being alive. So a lovely day to me is every day. A lovely day to me is waking up, not just waking up, but going to bed, being able to go to bed, and I've survived another day. A lovely day to me is snoring, listening to my wife snore, and boy, she can go. That's a lovely day. I'm not expecting a perfect day. I'm expecting a lovely day. And I work every day to make sure I'm having a lovely day. And if for some ungodly reason I'm not, I remember God has placed me here and allowed me to wake up again to have another lovely day. So no matter how imperfect yesterday was, tomorrow is going to be perfect in my eyes because my eyes open and it is indeed a lovely day. Shenita, birthday girl.
Yes.
What's your version of a lovely day?
I echo everything that you guys have said. And if you guys watch me navigate through Facebook, I thank God before I post. I thank him every day when I wake up for my life, as you all have said, because we could have been on the non-wake up list.
Amen.
And then I post a post thanking him publicly, not only just because that's what I want to do, but I'm hoping it will inspire others to also thank him. And I always want to put a smile on somebody's face, so I always try to greet the people. And so I am grateful just for life and everything you guys have said, and purpose and the drive that I continue to have, because I want to die empty. I really want to die knowing that I have given all that he's given me to give or to do on this journey. So I'm just grateful for life every day, throughout the day, and at night, like you say.
A beautiful life you have. I don't know how much longer we have, but before we go, I want to make sure I ask this one question. I do a lot of these Zoom type meetings, and I always want to ask this question to folks. And we'll go around and we'll ask you last, Shenita. But I think if we weren't in this pandemic, we would probably be together, enjoying each other's company, laughing and drinking and having fun. But we can't, so we're in this environment. And so I really want to point the finger at her or him or whatever you want to call coronavirus, COVID-19. But if COVID-19 was a person, what would you say to her? Let's start with Vince.
Can you repeat the question again, Tom?
If we've gone through 217,000 people dead. Our lives have been upended. We're meeting on a computer instead of in person. Our friends and family are gone or laying up in the hospital. We have to wear a mask every day. We have to stay 6 feet apart. Vince, we go to concerts all the time. Haven't been to one this year. If COVID was a person, what would you say to her or him?
time, I really don't have any words. It's this year has been so crazy that I don't think you can even put it in a box and describe it. You know, 2020 should be a movie, and I think at some point somebody this might be a
We're
task.
living it. We're living it. We're
Yeah,
living the movie.
But think about so think about all the kids that have not been born yet. And when they come along, and if we're so fortunate to be around when they come along, and we try to explain what 2020 was like, how do you explain that to them where they can understand?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Sheila, if COVID-19 was a person, what would you say to him or her?
Look here, heifer.
That's what I'm looking for. Look here, heifer.
Look here, heifer. You tried to mess with my business, but you didn't. We pivoted and we started doing Zoom and workshops that way. You tried to mess with my money, but you didn't, because everybody got back on track. You tried to mess with my kid's career, but you didn't, because he's doing something else that he really loves. He's going to be a writer for WB. You tried to do everything you could. You took 5 relatives.
Oh, 5. My condolences.
Yes, my sincere condolences.
You took 5 relatives, but you didn't take our spirit as a family. We still kept going. We attended every funeral, whether it was Zoom or in person. Some of them went in person, but we still did Zoom, and we showed up 1,000 deep each and every time. So you don't win, COVID. You don't win. You don't steal the spirits of the people.
Yeah.
We will go on and Biden 2020.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I love it. Yes.
Jennifer, if COVID-19 was a person, what would you say to him and her?
Boy, bye.
Boy, bye.
Listen,
See ya.
I don't want to preach, but I would say, yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow, I fear no evil.
Come on.
Thou art with me. Now, I want to say this. COVID brought my family so much closer.
Mm-hmm.
My kids, my husband, it brought us. Let me tell you, I said, Lord, is this a joke? Most of my kids, one family with the son, his wife, and 2 kids had to come here as well. Our house was packed like Vienna sausages in that little. So I'm like, Lord, what is this? They grown, but it was for a reason and a purpose. He said to me, this is not by chance. You're here. Make it work. We started having Bible study. We had just built a bond that had dwindled away. My marriage was like dwindling, but he bought all of this. I'm like, okay, so you thought you was hurting us, but God came in and he renewed my family.
Wow. That is
like seriously
a positive twist to COVID.
Yes.
Wow. And my prayers do still go out to everybody. I had a close friend that passed as well from COVID. Like, man, we just have to just pray. Keep praying. Praying for people that's hurting, praying for COVID to go on. It's time to go.
But sounds like you see the beauty in the aftermath.
In it, yes. Like I'm telling you, like my relationship, our relationship with the kids, and when I say kids, my kids are grown, but everybody came to this house and we made it work. In the midst of this, we made it work. I had to sit here and teach with I teach, so I'm here teaching. My daughter-in-law in the other room on her computer. So we made it work. And even my relationship with the daughter-in-law is like, oh, I hate y'all leaving. You know, we hated it. It was so packed, but we hated when everybody had, you know, they through COVID, they was blessed and got their own beautiful home now. And they had to leave. My grandkids, I'm like, I'll see you. But it's just a bond. Like, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
It's
That's
beautiful.
Felicia, if COVID-19 was a person, what would you say to him or her?
Stop it.
Stop it.
Okay.
Stop it. Just stop it. Just stop.
Stop it.
Yes.
Get on with that.
Yeah,
Get
stop it. Go sit down somewhere.
Take a
You
seat.
have shown up and showed out enough. Just stop it.
Yes.
Oh, you know what I would say? Y'all heard that song? I bust your windows out your car.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, Shenita, birthday girl. If COVID-19 was a person, what would you say to him or her?
You know, I'm going to share a few things that some people have said on this Facebook Live.
Oh, I didn't know we were on Facebook Live. Oh, we're on Facebook Live?
You didn't realize it?
Oh, how am I going to realize it?
Oh, are you in trouble?
No, I just would have editorialized myself.
Okay, it's okay.
Sorry.
So my brother said he would say, get the hell out of our life is what I would say. And another person said, enough already, COVID. Hit the road, Jack, and don't come back no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more.
Ain't nobody curse?
No.
No, I didn't see any.
Yeah, well, that's odd.
But if I had to have a conversation with COVID, I would say you're defeated.
You're defeated.
Yes.
You're defeated.
Yes.
You know, and I said to my children, if COVID took me out, they know what to do and so forth, because we don't know how we're gonna exit. But if it did, I've given them some specific instructions, written and non-written. But you are defeated. You will not win this one, even if you take me out.
Amen.
You will not win.
Yes. We're all winners because we're still here.
And we are.
Not to say that the people who aren't here are losers, but
no.
winners. And I loved Jennifer's comments and how she found a way to win in a pandemic.
Yes.
But it's all about throughout life, no matter what the ailment, no matter what the issue is how do we win and keep moving forward?
Right.
Yeah.
And enjoying and celebrating this life and celebrating you, Shenita. 56 years here on this beautiful earth. Anything else you want to accomplish?
I do want for us to have a toast. I know that I asked everybody to have a glass and we're going to do a toast. I know Vince talked about a roast, but we're going to do a toast because I know Vince is not at his best tonight. But I am so grateful that he pushed through.
He did.
Not feeling well. And thank you to every one of you guys for being here and sharing the platform as we celebrate 56 years. So cheers.
Clink, clink.
Clink, clink.
56 years.
A toast, yeah.
Yes.
And many more. Sparkle.
Yes.
And many more.
Sparkle. Sparkle.
Sparkle lives.
I want to keep the sparkle going.
Keep it going, baby girl. Keep it going.
So I thank you guys for sharing in this special occasion to celebrate the beginning of a new year of life. I thank you all for being who you are to me and to so many others. And may God continue to bless each and every one of you. I love you.
We love you.
You know He loves you more. Yes.
Be great, everybody. Be great. Be great.
All
Love
right.
somebody. Love
You too.
somebody.
Be blessed. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Love you guys.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Anybody want to sing happy birthday?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
I'm just dancing.
Happy birthday, Shenita.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Oh, I forgot we on Facebook Live. We can't be acting all crazy.
Let me give y'all a round of applause for effort.
That's why you had me backstage, because I can't sing.
I love it. I appreciate each and every one of you guys and love you dearly. So thank you again.
Love
for
you.
making this special. All right. Good night.
Shenita.
Thank you, dear.
All right.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Feel better.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.